Hello, this is Malorian, and this is going to be the first game of the Warhammer tournament. It's my favorite tournament of the year, and I brought a pretty damn strong list, so I'm looking forward to kicking some butts. In this first game here, it's actually going to be a grudge match. I'd met this guy once before, but it was kind of like the second day of the tournament. We were both pretty hungover. His slan just kind of died pretty easily to a rock on the head type thing from my stone lava. And so we figured, you know what, we need to have a rematch. We need to do this. But now I have a pretty strong list, so I figured, like I talked in the intro, I'm going to crush this guy. But when I saw his list is pretty strong now too. All of a sudden he has double slan, and because over here in this town where I'm going to this tournament, they allow a lot of storm and magic stuff in there, it's actually a Lizardman army with a dragon as well. So that's going to be a little bit worrisome, but overall, you know, I should be all right. I should be all right. But another issue here too is I'm not just fighting my opponent. In this mission here, there's actually a big tree in the very center. And if you don't kill that tree, you both lose. And you're probably thinking like, man, a tree, that's easy to destroy. Well, this thing here actually, it has, you know, something say crazy like toughness 7 or whatever it is, but you can only wound on a 4+ anyway. The other big thing here too is it has 8 wounds, has a pretty good armor save, has a ward save, and every single time you do a wound to it from shooting or wherever, it also does, what is it, 2d6 strength 3 hits to you per wound. So yeah, I mean, guys are shooting it with arrows and just being like slaughtered if they ever did anything. And in combat, if you fight in combat, it's just like a building, so only 10 models, and also after you're done, no matter what you are, it's going to thunderstomp you, strength 6, d6+2 hits, so it's pretty nasty. So you almost don't want to fight the tree, but you have to fight the tree, because if you don't, you both lose. Luckily I have Black Orcs on a flaming banner, so I think I'll be alright, but let's see what happens. Alright, so here's kind of the main look of the board here. You can see that big evil tree in the center. Some of the other terrain here is also going to have other effects, but it's all pretty minor, so I'm not going to bother to really bring it up unless it actually does something. If you don't know what my army is, look back at the intro video. I explained everything there. But really, from my opponent's side, he has some skinks and chameleons, or what is it, a salamander there on the left. Then you see his sun dragon, and this is a thing where, like, it's throwing me for a loop because I'm not used to, you know, Lizardmen having something like this. Then again, hey, I got all these war machines, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue. More skinks. The white slan going around there, he's a death slan, and hey, maybe I can snipe him too. Behind the tree there is actually going to be his temple guard, and in there he has his life slan. Then he's going to have some blocks of Saurus, some more skinks, another salamander. You know what the deal is. Sorry, another thing I should say here too is if you look at my Wolf Riders, you'll see that I'm already missing 2. And the reason why this is because they also run like this bingo here. And you get this big square of all these crazy things like talk to a girl about Warhammer, get a, you know, fail to cast a spell, all this stuff. And I actually had a really good chance of getting these with the things that was going on. And so one of the ones I needed was to go and fail a dangerous terrain. So with my Vanguard, you know, I go through there and, you know, I'll be moving through there, taking it, and hey, I got some drink tickets out of it, so hurrah! Otherwise, on this side, you can kind of see what the rest is. He also has that one Scarvet that's going to be, you know, mounted there. That one piece of terrain is actually going to matter on the far right because that's an actual Temple of Skulls, so you know you can go and pray to it. He also has that Scrox unit there as well, the Skinks and the Croxagore, which usually isn't a big deal, but you know, it's one of these things where if you look here, terrain's really going to be an issue because going between the tree and this big rock, I can't fit any of my hordes. So the main idea I'm going to have going into this, and by the way, even though my characters are all in the front there, I mean, they'll be in units right away here. But my idea is that the Black Orcs are going to then go for the tree, destroy it, and then basically they're going to be just sitting here just to protect my bunker while the Savages sweep around one flank and the Trolls around the other flank. This is a little picture over here again. Here of like the three main things I'm worried about in this game is his Sun Dragon, the Death Mage, and the Life Mage. I mean, that dragon, if it gets to my bunker, I'm in big trouble. If his Death Slan goes and death snipes my War Boss, I'm in big trouble. And if his other Slan is making things +4 toughness, I'm in big trouble. One of the things that's kind of cool is that with my Wizarding hat, I got Lore Life. So I also have Flesh to Stone and the Throne of Vines, but it'll be a little bit harder for me to pull these things off probably. So over here I already talked about failing the dangerous terrain and no panic here. Otherwise, over here, he charges in with his Temple Guard. He also has the Flaming Banner. So the big thing here is that it's actually flammable, the tree, and every wound you do also gives you 150 points. So if he goes and he just does tons of wounds, I'll be way behind the mark right away. Otherwise, after his first turn, it looks like this. His dragon's there, and, you know, for the most part, I think he's actually trying to bait me, you know, where he might actually just flee and try to go away, because he really probably doesn't want my trolls to go around. So I think that's what he's doing there. Otherwise, you know, things are just kind of moving up cautiously. He does 4 wounds to the tree, and so I figure that's not so bad. He got off tons of magic. You know, I didn't care if he was +4 toughness or have regen and any of that stuff. It really saved him from taking many wounds after doing the attacks on the tree. But because he did 4 wounds, that means it's 4 left. I can destroy it with my Black Orcs. And the main thing there is that means nobody's getting the advantage from destroying the tree. So that's all working out good so far. Over here, we moved away that silly Temple Skulls things because, you know, it's so awkward to put your models on. But either way, he moves on his one Saurus here, his Scarvet. He prays to it. He just gets some like extra initiative, which is, you know, it's a lot better if you get more toughness or wounds or strength or something. Otherwise, over here, hey, hooray, I failed some animosity. So my Savages and the Wolf Riders decide to fight each other, and that's going to mean that my Savages at the back of the board are going to be a little bit slow for this flanking maneuver I planned. Otherwise, over here, like we kind of thought, he went and he fled the charge from the Trolls. Otherwise, I also got a charge into the Eagle there. So, you know, I figure this is not too bad. I'm kind of in an okay spot. The main thing is that the dragon is not charging me. And, hey, you know, maybe I can Hand of Gork up the Trolls anyway. The main thing is if I can go and I can War Machine off that dragon, all of a sudden those Trolls will be around that tree in no time. Over here, I go and I'm able to scare off the Salamander with the charge. I try to redirect after into the Scarvet, but I fail. And over here, I think the big thing I was trying to show is that I was shooting at the Death Slan. I hit him and then figured out he has a 2+ ward against shooting. It's one of these things where, you know, he probably has it, but until you actually go and test it out, you don't know. So I was hoping for an easy kill on the Death Mage. Now I'm even more worried about him. But hey, at least his dragon's running away. Over here, oh, the luck this guy has. So I went and I did a Doom Diver to the Scarvet, killed him, and then these guys failed their test and they start fleeing. So, hey, you know, my Savages are behind, but at least now one of these blocks of Saurus will be behind as well. Otherwise, over here, I go and I destroy the Eagle, I overrun into the Salamander, and it also panics the Skinks. So all of a sudden, this whole left flank is completely falling apart. Otherwise, here in the center, yeah, this was horrible. I went into that tree, and I freaking whiffed. And then even then, I thought, hey, you know, I still have enough wounds, it's flammable, I'll still get my 4 wounds. Well, then he made a couple of the ward saves, and I only did 2 wounds. So that's horrendous. Yeah, what can you really do? Now I'm actually just hoping that these skinks come in here so I can kick their butt and get some points back. Otherwise here, this is what it looks like. And yeah, I mean, it's looking good on the left flank, the right flank, whatever. But I really am not having this double flanking action going on because I'm stalling on both flanks. And I'm really seeing that as an issue. So on his turn, he goes into the tree, and obviously he's going to finish it off. So that means he did 6 wounds, I did 2. He's up by 4, so he's getting extra 600 points. So nothing's really gone on so far, but he's already up 600 points. Otherwise, over here, I destroyed the salamander. So yeah, this side is now looking really good. You can see there the dragon rallied, which is what you expect. I really did try to shoot him with all my stuff, but just couldn't do it. Otherwise, this is what it looks like at the end of his turn. So the skinks are really just there, and they're just happy to shoot me. He kind of just like swift reformed, moved up, and now I realize that this is just it's just going to be a shooting gallery of these guys just shooting me up. It was nice to see the Saurus moving there on the right, because, I mean, hey, he could just hold back. So maybe if he's moving up towards me, I can actually fight them with my savages. But either way, his Salamander rallies, and his Saurus keep running, the smaller unit there. So, yeah, more bad luck for my opponent, but hey, he's already up a lot of points. So over here, I have a miscast or something, and I lose some wounds, but it's no big deal. I mean, it's one of the things here where normally, when I only take my level 4, it's like, well, okay, if he dies, all of a sudden I'm screwed, I don't have the leadership, whatever. Now it's really nice because I feel I can just go and throw all my dice at whatever I want, and if he explodes, I still have the war boss. I believe here, actually, both of them had a miscast, and so it ended up with like 2 wounds on the guy here. Otherwise, over here, I charge in, defeat the skinks, they flee, and they stop right in front of the salamander, which is nice. And otherwise, it looks like this. So the trolls just kind of moved up. I tried again to shoot that dragon, but did a few wounds, just not enough to take it down. I think he's sitting on 1 or something right now. Otherwise, the Black Orcs swift reform, and they're getting ready to beat up on some skinks. And that's really it. He actually, the skinks that were behind the building that fled from the panic, they didn't rally, and I was able then to, with a kind of a weird charge going around the building, send them going off. So yeah, completely there's nothing on the left flank other than this dragon. So in his turn, he flies his dragon more to the middle. He doesn't use his breath weapon because he's lining it up, so I have to charge both the dragon and the skink unit, and then he also, buffs them up, gets some magic out there because, hey, I can't stop all the spells from this land, and he heals up 2 wounds on the dragon, which sucks, but hey, maybe the least I can do is break it down a bit. He also does -1 strength and toughness on the Black Orcs, but at this point I figure I don't care. I'm not going to charge in. I'm just going to stand here and shoot the thing down. One thing I did really like, you can see from this picture, is that his source moved up in such a way that if I charge him with my savages, I could probably overrun into the flank of the skink unit, and, buffed or not, that's going to be really bad for him. His other source unit rallied, and of course with my forced overrun, that'd be showing my flank to the other source, but I have that chariot over there that can actually go and redirect it, so that's all good news. The skinks went and ran over the salamander and panicked the salamander, so again, more kind of bad luck for my opponent. Alright, so after my turn here and all my shooting and stuff, there's still a dragon. So that's really not part of the plan. Otherwise, trolls are swinging around and they'd love to go kill those temple guard. I believe it's this turn that you can't really see it. Maybe just like that little bit of green behind the tree there on the left side. But I actually charge my wolf riders into the Death's Land. Of course, I'm not going to break him or anything, but at least I'm holding him in place so my trolls can finish him off. Otherwise, my savages did go in there on the right, destroyed those guys, but didn't overrun far enough to get into the Scrox unit. And you can see there I'm redirecting his Saurus. So on his turn, he charges both units into my Black Orcs, and that's looking pretty scary. Oh, until I release my Fanatics and kill the bastard. So, I failed on all my war machines, but in the end, Goblin Trickery saved the day. So now, this guy's gone. My Black Orc should be able to beat these skinks. Because I'm set up like this, I should be able to kill enough skinks that he's going to lose steadfast. And if I break through here, he's in a lot of trouble. Except that he also gets to charge off onto my Savage Orcs, which seems, really bad. But then he goes and he buffs up his unit. And, these guys, when they're like toughness 8, that's an issue. After everything's said and done, yeah, it was really bad. Really, really bad. So let's start on the top there. So, of course, he goes into my chariot, destroys my chariot. He goes into my savages. He actually doesn't do that much to me. I do actually a wound to his Scarvet, because there's another Scarvet in the Temple Guard, and then do some wounds to the unit, but just like 2 guys or something. Otherwise, he beats me. I'm going to lose by a bunch, but hey, I roll like double ones, so thank God they hold. But as you can see there, my Black Orcs destroyed. The big thing here is, yeah, I just didn't really do anything. He got off some debuffs on me, where a -1 strength and toughness. There was some other buff going on as well, or debuff, and these guys just went right through me. One of the things I really say here is that I really wanted to stop the flesh to stone going off, and he irresistible forced it, and then like nothing really happened to it about it. So this is now looking really bad. My Black Orcs at least aren't off the table, so they can rally, and then I can maybe try and take them on with my own guys here. But the way it worked out, it actually am still in his front. But hey, maybe if I can get off flesh to stone, it might work out. But yeah, things are not looking that great. Crappy picture, but Trolls go into the Death's Land, and this should be it for him. And over here, we charge in and figure out, we just might as well go for it. I declare my WA, so I'll get the extra D3 combat res, and I just need something here, because otherwise, my other option is just going to kind of run away with my characters, but I really, at this point, need something to turn this around. Over here, it was kind of weird. The Fanatic goes through and it hits both the Temple Guard and my Savage Orcs. Does no wounds. So, whatever. He killed a dragon. He's done for the day. After everything's said and done here, yeah, the Savages are now dead. The Death's Land is now dead, so there's something. But, yeah, I charged in there, killed some guys, but in the end, he just kills enough Night Goblins and stuff that he sticks. So, not good news. His turn, he comes over here, and he irresistible forces +4 toughness onto the skink unit. So again, I was just waiting to use that scroll, but irresistible force, miscast was nothing of note, and there you have it. One thing that was good, though, a little bit, was in that last combat, I was actually able to kill his Scarvet with my Savages before I died. So again, tiny bits of points, but just too little. Overall here, I think this is again showing us the bigger overview. And then, yeah, he just destroys my unit. I mean, what do you do when the guys are +4 toughness? So he destroys me, he goes into my Black Orcs, and, I mean, looking over the rest of it, it doesn't really matter. I mean, my Trolls will be stupid forever. His other Saurus are moving away from me. And then over here, I mean, he still has a flesh to stone. They're going to crush me. And these guys are really just moving around while this happens. Just hoping to get to my stone thrower, but I'm just moving it out of the way. And yeah, Black Orcs are destroyed, and ugh, so horrible. So there you have it. We kind of just looked at it and said, you know what? It's a massacre loss. There you have it. So many points. I mean, all my stuff was destroyed. All my characters. He got an extra 600 points from the tree. Just bad news. Now, when you look at it overall, what went wrong? And I think the big thing here is that my plan. Well, first of all, I was down from the beginning because the whole thing with the tree. The whole idea behind this mission is that the tree is really hard to kill. However, once you get these elite units with the flaming banner, it's more like a race, like who can get there first, right? And unfortunately, the dice went against me, and I start off behind the ball. Now, I think in general, my plan would have still worked. I mean, if my war machines would have done their job, dragons should have died, sweeping around the flanks, getting into those Saurus, I'd be able to use my scroll at that key turn and then get in there, try and kill the temple guard, all that fun stuff. And if nothing else, it should have been a lot closer. The reason why everything unraveled is because, first of all, he was ahead in points, and then when I was trying to sweep around, of course, the Savages failed Animosity. Scott slowed down there. Over there, he baited me with a dragon. I knew it was something where he was trying to do it to me, but I had to go and charge him to send him away, because if I just, say, moved up a foot and stayed there, then he could have flown over to my bunker. And I didn't want him to get in there, killing my guys and everything falling apart. Now, looking at this, I'm already seeing that was a tactical mistake. And it's almost a thing you got to take away from chess here. Now, if you would have had other redirecting units, that would have been something else. But remember, on the one side, my chariot and my the wolf riders went in, destroyed the one eagle, got into the salamander. The skinks, they're in the building, they panicked. So really, there's nothing to redirect. And if you take this from chess, you can have it sometimes where you're threatening a key piece like the queen or the king or something like that, but they have something in the middle, so they can move that piece somewhere else to kill something, but then you could kill the king or queen, something more important, and you're kind of forcing their hand. And that's really what this could have been. I mean, right here, from the first turn, I could have moved my trolls up to that kind of center line, an inch away from the dragon. Remember, all there is behind him is the Death's Land and a Temple Guard, and then said, all right, you can fly over here. I'll release my fanatics into you, shoot you with war machines. You'll probably be dead. And on top of that, now my trolls can charge either your Death's Land or your Temple Guard, whatever. So I really would have forced his hand. But at the time, I just didn't think like that. I thought, I need to charge this guy, either get into him or send him away because he's too much of a threat. So that was kind of a tactical mistake there. Animosity on the other flank, what can you do, right? These things come up. I'm not going to go and pay the points, but black orcs everywhere. So that was unfortunate. I don't see any tactical blunders there. That's dice. And then, of course, it's the whole thing with irresistible force on those, flesh to stone. What can he do? I mean, I'm sitting here, and he's trying to decide how many dice to throw and how he should break this up. It's like, go ahead, roll your dice. Just let me say the spell scroll, and then double 6. And, of course, it could go bad, and it could explode, but remember, he has the one vines there, the throne of vines, so he's just spelling it on a 2+ anyway. I think at one point he actually failed and took a wound or something. I can't really remember. Actually, no, I think it was cupped hands. He failed, but then didn't really matter anyway. But the main thing here is, what can he do, right? When you're up against toughness 8 Temple Guard or toughness 6 Skinks, I never thought I'd be using great weapons against Skinks. That was just crazy. I thought even there I might stand a chance because it's 3+ to hit, 3+ the wound, but it didn't go that way. He killed a lot of my guys. There you go. So there you have it, a really bad start. And one of the things I'm kind of wondering about too, and unfortunately I can't really calculate it now, is we just kind of quickly said, like looking at it, it's a massacre loss. 20 points for you, 1 for me, the way the system worked. But now looking back, you actually have to have 1,700 points difference for that to be like that. And I mean, I still have the trolls. And remember, I killed the Death's Land. I killed a Saurus unit. So it could have actually just been a minor loss, or no, well, minor win for him, however you want to look at it. But whatever, either way, it's a loss. It's a loss. And not starting off the tournament so well so far, but we'll be back. So let's see what happens next. Bye.